A little bit here to the NFL. Joining us now, there's only 32 of these humans in the world. They are tasked to do real-life fantasy football. They are tasked with building a team, a culture, an environment. And the man who is doing that for the Indianapolis Colts has a southern draw and a baby face. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Ballard.
Yeah, Chris!
Chris!
How we doing?
Hey,
Tell me this. No, we got to get started with you.
Okay.
Are you ready? Are you ready to roll? Chris, are you going to put the ass whipping on Adam Cole?
Hey, Chris, I'm not going. Hey, you know a little bit about me now at this point. I think you've met my parents. I ain't no bitch, Chris. There ain't none of that in me. There ain't none of that in me. And I'm gonna put on a show Saturday.
Well, I look forward to watching you put the West Virginia ass whipping on him. He deserves.
Hey, now we're talking about. Let's get to the ass whipping that you are a part of right now. Training camp, trying to put together a team. For those that aren't watching on YouTube, right above Chris's head is probably $150 to $200 million worth of contracts he's going to have to negotiate.
Stop it! Don't raise the price.
It's Quentin Nelson and Darius Leonard. That team that you've been building over there, young core, defense great. Good offensive line, great offensive line. You got this team that's set up for success. Last year, Jacoby gets hurt. Nobody expected that to happen. You're on a hot run. You bring in Phillip Rivers now. In this COVID world that we're in, how's the team looking in training camp? How are you handling the whole thing?
Well, good. Everybody makes the excuse that, we didn't have an off season, but we're all playing under the same rules. Nobody's got an advantage on anybody else. So the playing field's equal. And, in terms of, we're going into our, we had our first 3 days of pads. It was good, normal padded practice. The first 2 weeks was interesting. It'll be interesting to see how we follow this going forward, because there's some things of the ramp up that we liked, that we think that can be beneficial for us going forward. Okay. But so far, so good.
What are you looking at this? Because we watch Hard Knocks, and that's really the only inside peek that I get inside a building now. I watch Hard Knocks, and I think it's a wide receiver coach was talking to the Zoom call, which was all the players, because Seth Ryan, Rex's kid, got a false positive or whatever, and he gave an entire speech about how I have to prepare everybody in the Zoom call to play. Like, everybody has to be ready to play, especially with this COVID, because people are going to get sent out. He said, you guys might have a new position coach because I might get COVID at some point in this thing. How are you preparing for that roster-wise? You just have a list of a bunch of you have to scout a bunch of humans and just be ready to pick and place them?
So this Connexon device is very important. It's tracing, it's contact tracing, our proximity to other people. And if you're around, a group for over 15 minutes at a time, it becomes an issue if somebody tests positive, because they're going to be knocked out. So the way we've explained it, Frank and I, to our staff, both coaches and our scouts, is, look, every guy on the team's important, and you can't, everybody, even your practice squad players that are usually a little more developmental, you've got to think of them as starters, because there's a chance during the season they're going to come into play. Now, the good news for us is that's usually where our first pull is from when we're bringing players in. We've been very active on our practice squad, something we've really sold to players, and we've had guys come from there. So, but it's even more important this year. We have got to be able to, those 16 players have to be treated just like they're playing on Sunday each and every week, because you just don't know. And then we've got to have an emergency list ready to go, that's long and deep. And, our scouts will work on that.
What's the conversation about, accountability? Because we saw in that first Hard Knocks, the Spanos family, father-son there, who's loved in San Diego, but I got a chance to watch them on Hard Knocks talk to Chris Harris Jr. about how, hey, we're going to need you guys to hold each other accountable and this whole bubble-like thing. How has that messaging been sent from the team? And are you guys just expecting people to do that? And how do you see that going with all 100% reality of the humans, 21 to 25-year-old guys? It's going to be a very tough chore, I think.
No, it's going to be very difficult. And our team knows it, not just our team, our staff.
Yeah.
I got 5 kids. When I go home, I got 5 children, and I can't ask them to stop living. I ask them to be careful, and I'm careful around them. Look, we're not going to focus on the problem. Frank made a great point of this. We're going to address the problem at the start of camp. And like we both told the locker room, if you want to win and if you want to go where you want to go, it's going to take some accountability on each one of you. And you've got to hold each other accountable. And they know, Pat, you've been in that locker room. They know the guys that are doing what needs to be done. They know the guys that are working. I mean, you can bullshit the media, you can bullshit the fans, but you cannot bullshit the locker room.
Bingo.
And they know. So there's got to be a degree of accountability being held within that locker room for it to be able to be successful. And it doesn't mean we won't have a slip up. And it doesn't mean so. And I don't want somebody, if they do get it, but they've got to be honest. They can't come in the building. They've got to be honest. And we got to make sure we continue testing and doing the protocols that the league has asked us to do.
Chris, you're still here? Awesome. Thanks for watching this stream. Please, if you have a moment of your time, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel so you're notified next time I go live. And if you got a few extra seconds, hit that description down there below the video and check out all the places that you can follow me, whether it be Sportscaster here on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and there's a couple places where you can help donate to my channel. That way I can continue to bring all this content to you. Thank you for your support. Now, let's get back to the video.
Jay Hawk here. There's been
Hey,
rumors.
Jay.
How you doing? There's rumors floated out there that the NFL is exploring the options of going to a playoff bubble whenever that time comes. Seems like you may be getting
That's
a little
so
ahead of
far
ourselves.
down the road,
but
Chris.
would that be a competitive thing so a team like you doesn't lose Phil Rivers in your first playoff game? Like, how does that work?
I'd love to have a playoff bubble here in Indy. We can put everybody in hotels and we can hold them up.
Yes, we can. Yeah.
I can't lie to you though, AJ. My viewpoint right now is just on today, and I hadn't even thought that far in advance, or have I heard anything from the league regarding some type of bubble.
What's up, Chris? D-Buck. Good to see you, man. Good to see you.
Yeah, same here.
A lot of people talking about the Phillip Rivers signing and Buckner on defense. I'm excited about Xavier Rhodes, and I guess it's a two-part question. First, what was it about him that you saw that you wanted to bring him in? I was excited. I talked about it before you guys even signed him. And two, how's he fitting in with the guys? I know going to more of his own scheme than what he's coming from. How's that going?
It's going good. And look, I mean, we had two coaches here that were with Xavier in Minnesota, and Jonathan Gannon and Alan Williams. So they had history with him. And guys, I mean, usually when you hit 30 in this league, that's kind of a breaking point. But there's certain players I've been around that just have freakish talent and can extend their careers. And Xavier has that. He's got some of God's gifts that are hard to find. We think we can help him. We think we can help him physically with some of the stuff we're doing nutritionally and with our strength program. And so far, so good. And we knew, like, one of the things I really addressed and wanted to address was making sure we added a couple veterans in the secondary.
Yep.
Because it's such a young group. I mean, even Kenny, even Kenny's young. We forget. He hadn't been in the league a long time.
Yeah.
And as great a player he is, and as good a leader as he is, it's good to have a vet. The year we had Mike Mitchell, Mitch was unbelievable guiding that room. And I think Xavier, and then we added another Tavon Wilson here a few weeks ago. And he looks like he's going to be a real good addition. And then also TJ Carey. I don't want to undersell what he can do. He can play inside and outside and play safety. Yep. So we think we've added 3 to the secondary vets that can help these young kids come along.
Secondary is going to be a big deal in the AFC for a long time with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid over there in Kansas City, which, by the way, you came from that place. And I think I asked you, I believe it was last year or 2 years ago, every time you come on, by the way, I'm so thankful. Ladies, joining us now, by the way, for those that are just catching in, Chris Ballard, General Manager of the Indianapolis.
As big as you've gotten now, we're just happy to come on.
Oh,
you do look good. You look good, dude. You've been getting after it.
Yeah,
Fight week.
Hey, this is fight week, man. Hey, Chris, if I would have taken care of my body like I've been taking care of my body here going into my wedding and then now into fight week, I mean, we're talking probably 3-4 more yards on every single punt. I mean, we're talking big deal.
You could have easily played another 8 or 9 years.
Oh, well.
Easily played another 8 or 9.
I still think I probably could if I needed to. But, oh, man, what was I going to ask you about? I had a great question lined up. Oh, the Kansas City Chiefs. Last year or 2 years ago, you said that Veach is a guy who's incredible at setting up contracts and setting up a roster. We're watching them do that right now somehow, pulling money out of a hat. I don't know how they're doing this, signing all their players. But in the AFC, like, is there ever a thought? You're just focused on the AFC South? Are you focusing on what the AFC is for what seems to be the next maybe 10 years with Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs? Like, whenever you're putting together your team, what are you thinking about?
Well, I mean, the good thing is they're not in our they're in the AFC, but they're not in our division.
Yeah.
So that helps. And in terms of Kansas City, Brett's outstanding, and he's got a a cap guy, Brant Tillis, who I'm also very close with from our time there, who's outstanding. But when we put our team together, look, it's a passing league. I mean, it is. It's a passing league, and you've got to be able to rush, and you got to be able to cover on defense. And you want 11 guys that can defend the pass. I know stopping the run's big, but we'll rally and we'll figure out how to stop the run. But, you got to have 11 guys to defend the pass. And we're always going to be, that's always going to be our emphasis defensively. I think that's when you see at linebacker. I don't know if we have a linebacker that weighs over 233 pounds. We want we want guys that can run and cover and take space away. And that's how you have a chance to defend, the Watson, the Mahomes, the Jacksons. You've got to have speed on the field to be able to match them.
Let's talk about your quarterback at this point. Phillip Rivers, as soon as you signed him, there was obviously a reaction, either very good, really bad. Any decision that is made in the offseason, you can't judge immediately until you see how it pans out. So it's always hilarious to kind of do that and see that. With the first couple of days here and with him being in the building, what have you seen out of Phillip Rivers that makes you go, yep, that's why we picked Phillip Rivers this offseason?
Well, look, he's accurate. I think he's 89% so far in practice. This dude he is accurate.
Oh, come on.
He is accurate.
The defense is sorry out there. No, I'm joking.
No, Phillip will get out of bed when he's 70 and be accurate. Their guys can get out, and when they can throw it, that'll never leave him. But just his energy, his presence, all of that just bleeds over confidence to everybody else. And I think everybody knows. Let me tell you one of the cool things. Everybody knows what Phillip's done in his career, and players know. But he comes out every day and works and wants to still earn their respect, which I think is key.
Well, and I think that's why Phillip Rivers is Phillip Rivers. We got to go to a break on radio. Will you stick with us on YouTube for a little bit, another minute or two?
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, the conversation continues with Chris Ballard at youtube.com/the Pat McAfee Show. We'll be back on the other side, radio listeners, to close out hour one. And we're clear. What are you drinking over there? You got some Menno Explode? You fucking getting jacked up? What's that?
Uptime.
What's that?
Uptime.
What is it?
Oh, it's the best one. I found it. I got cases of it in the fridge.
They should be paying you for this, right? I never even heard of that thing right there.
We tried. I had Cal. Remember Cal came on? I had Cal call him. I said, call Uptime and see if we can't get them to sponsor the draft room. And they wouldn't do it because they don't sell it here. They only sell it on the East Coast.
Oh, that's
yeah. And they've gotten more. People watch the draft, but during the draft, these cans are just slaughtered all over the draft.
What is it? Some kind of like cognitive brain water?
It's an energy drink. It makes your hair stand up on your head.
It looks good, by the way. I was going to say.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah. It's called orange. This one's blood orange, but they got lemon. It's good.
Hey, listen.
It's better than all those other energy drinks. At least that's what I like.
Don't take the Bang. You will get hooked. That stuff is crack.
Oh, no. I don't like. I won't do the Bang.
Oh, yeah. By the way, I did it there for a couple months. I had to stop cold turkey. It was tough coming out of it. I'm going to be honest. It was tough coming out the other side of it. I'm happy to be on the other side. Let's talk about, can I ask you about Jacoby? Because I would assume that you have to answer a lot of questions about Jacoby. Jacoby, You gave him a 2-year deal last year, and you even said to the media, like, we don't know if he's our guy. That's why it's a 2-year deal, but we like what he's shown us thus far. Last year he had a great start, gets hurt. Now you bring in Phil. He's going to get a chance to, I don't want to say sit behind, but he sat behind Tom Brady, Andrew Luck, and now Phil Rivers. That seems like that's going to be quite a weapon for Jacoby's future. What are you thinking about Jacoby and his future? And I would assume this year is a year that you need to have a great backup because you have no idea what the hell is going to happen with the COVID thing.
Yeah, well, it's tough. I mean, I think it's tough, one, because of my, relationship with him, and I think so much of him. But bringing Phillip in was such a unique chance for the organization, especially with his relationship with both Nick and Frank. All right, so but Jacoby being who Jacoby is, of course he's pissed. He should be, but at Jacoby's core, he's as good a teammate as I've ever been around. And he wants the team to win. Sure, he wants to be the guy. And I wouldn't want a player on this team that doesn't want to start and play and compete. So Jacoby will continue at some point, like I told Jacoby, at some point, you're going to have to make a play to help us win. And he'll be ready.
Hey, Chris, you mentioned Jacoby and your relationship with him. I'm always curious, being the GM there and your relationships with players and coaches. Pat and I have talked about this before. It almost helps to, if you're running a sports team, to be a sociopath and not let your emotions get in the way of any kind of decision. I'm just wondering how you balance that between, like, hey, this is what's best for the team, but I also have personal relationships. Like, how has that gone so far?
Look, I can't do that. I just can't. It's just not me, and I can't change who I am. I'm going to have relationships. I do. I care about the play. I care about our players. I want them to do good. I want to have them to have successful careers. I want them to continue when football's over, to have successful lives. It's tough when you're making that transition. So I can't sit here and say I don't have relationships that are close with them. But here's how I kind of explain to our guys. Don't take the business in personal. And you do. Most of them are young. I'll say, look, at some point, we're going to have a discussion about money here. And you might not agree and I might not agree, and that's okay. If you do well and do everything that we're asking you to do, either we're going to pay you or somebody else is going to pay you, and it's going to work out good for you and your family. I want to keep every player we can, but that's not realistic. It'll get a little sticky every once in a while, but I think at the end of the day, players know a few things. One, I'm going to be very honest with them about what's going on and how they're playing and what the expectations are. And I think, at the end of the day, I want good for them. I want players to do good. We're not in the anti-player, screw player business. This is a players' league. I don't think it's a players and coaches league. You cannot forget that.
Well, Chris, we're about to come back into radio here, so I think it's a good time to let you go ahead and continue to dominate your day and create that Colts team. Enjoy the hell out of this process, man.
Right,
I hope the nose swabs have been a lot of fun as well.
I think I came in today. I was running late to a meeting, and I forgot they had to remind me to go get it. And I think that was after 21 straight days of getting tested.
Well,
it's nice, bad. We're getting used to it.
Well, hey, hopefully they all come back negative for the entire season for the entire NFL. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Ballard. Thanks.
Yeah, Chris. We're rooting for you.
Hey, you too, boss man. Welcome back to the Pat.
Be good.
Just because a player's not a household name doesn't mean we can't make him a household name.